What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome to another episode of the Tough Friends Don't Last podcast. I'm your host, Graham Powell. There's co-host Michelle Zangulis and FUPA over there. Say hello, Michelle and FUPA.
Hello, Michelle. This is FURPA.
That's what I said, FUPA the cat.
His name is
Anyway,
FURPA.
we're gonna give a quick shout out to our sponsor. The Tough Runs Don't Last podcast is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers five different races, a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, a marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all five of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience, track it with your fitness app of choice, screenshot your results as proof of completion. Once that screenshot is verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section for t shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series, and you can find us, the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast, on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Let's see what the rest is. Follow our socials at we're on what? On Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at the TR or at TR Don't Last.
Yes,
Okay.
that
All
is
right.
correct.
I was like, we run different things on the socials, so and I don't know all that, but that was a pretty good I think rundown of the sponsor info. FUPA is trying to steal the show for those of you watching on Spotify and YouTube.
I'm so sorry, y'all.
I suggest checking us out on the video to get the behind the scenes footage, or I guess is up and not even behind the scenes. We're out there.
Yep.
So yes, Michelle and FUPA having issues over there because what, you're not giving him a third zip tie?
Yeah, he really wants the zip tie that I have.
You gave him two already, and now he just keeps coming back for more, and he was attacking you just now.
Yes. Yes. But went and stole these back from him, so I don't know what to do. But we should probably talk about running and races and what this podcast is really about and take the attention off of him because then he might stick around for a while if he thinks he's going to continue to get attention.
He may do it regardless, but either way, either way, I'm
That's
getting a
true.
kick out of him just staring you down right now. All
Um,
right.
it's going to be a fun show. It's he's sitting on my mouse too, so it's a little scary. I have no control right now, but it's
I
okay.
mean, you could pick him up and move him.
This is a very angry cat. If I pick him up to move him, I might not be able to continue the show today.
Okay. I'm not calling you fat or anything. I'm just saying that you outweigh the cat. So I would, if it came down to a brawl, I mean, you'd get messed up for sure, but I think you should win.
I think I should too, but he has really sharp claws.
Yeah, I mean, you're not coming out of that unscathed. I mean,
No,
cats don't play.
no.
I hear mine fighting outside all the time.
Yes.
They don't mess around. They want smoke all the time. That's just what they do. They're
All the time.
savages. They're lovable savages, but they're savages nonetheless. Okay, that's some cat talk. Let's get to running. You and I did the MacArthur Park 5K Friday night, the rare Friday night race.
Yes.
It was 10 minutes from my work, so it was very convenient. I got to just throw on some running clothes and go. I didn't have to get up early or anything like that. Set my alarm the night before and make sure because Friday nights I'm usually passed out in my recliner, not from excess or anything like that. I'm just so exhausted and I want to watch TV and have my me time downtime. And I always end up falling asleep in the recliner. I still did that Friday night, but I had already run my race and well, didn't get to sleep in Saturday. I had to get up and mow all day yesterday. And good thing I did because lots of rain today. But yeah, let's talk about the race. Started and finished in MacArthur Park. I'm familiar with the area just because of the Little Rock Marathon. Part of the course, or part of that race, is part of the Little Rock Marathon. So I knew a little bit about it. Didn't all I could do as far as distance was look at my watch, and even that was a little off. But we'll get into that. But temperature wise, felt good. It was a pretty good crowd, and had lots of pizza after, and had a who was it? Stones what?
Stone's Throw is a local brewery and they had beer.
And cider.
They did have cider too as well, yes.
Yeah, I had the light beer, the which I'm more of a dark guy personally, but I had the light, and good thing I did. It was a pint. It was 5% per volume. Very tasty, but I
It
can
was
only
good.
imagine what the amber was, and then some. But it was a fun night. I going into it, I didn't know what to expect, what the turnout would be. You said they do this every year, so I mean, tell us a little more about it.
I don't know a lot about it. I do
Well,
know
never mind then. I mean, just kidding. Go ahead.
MacArthur Park is the first public park in Little Rock. And located in MacArthur Park, there's the Arkansas Arts Center, the Arkansas Military Museum. There's also a dog park, and I believe it's like a firefighter history museum type thing. So there's a lot of different things located within MacArthur Park. And it's put on by Little Rock Parks and Recreation. But um, this particular race was benefiting MacArthur Park. It's a very popular park, so they do need upkeep and things like that, and it is a historical park, so pretty sure quite a bit of the money went to that.
I've got my shirt on. I was showing it off just now. My
Uh,
MacArthur Park 5K shirt that I got, as part of the registration process, which is the norm at these things. But I went and got my packet. I actually got there pretty early and went up and got my packet. And I do so many of these that I never know if I got a 2X or an extra large. And I only say that because I would always go 2X just because it's comfortable. It's big and comfortable. And I really only wear these things when I'm lounging around the house anyway. And I want to just, I don't know, be comfortable with a shirt on. So I go up and I get my bib and all that. And then they ask what shirt size. And I say 2X. And then one of the guys, I don't know what he was doing. He was one of the helpers, volunteers, organizers, something. And he goes, "You're one of two people that ordered a extra large and wanted a 2X." And I'm thinking, one, how did he know that? And two, um, okay, well, I'll go with an extra large then. And it did say on my bib extra large, but I actually low key respected the move. I was like, this guy's running a tight ship. I dig it. But yeah, I wouldn't want to take somebody's 2X if they were ordered a 2X. But like I said, I didn't know just because I do so many of these things. I can't remember because the only reason I would go extra large would be if there's a $2 extra for the 2X. That's the only reason it's back and forth for me. If that's the case, I'll wear an extra large, and an extra large fits me better. Like I said, I just want something that's comfortable. I want a big poncho basically when I'm lounging around the house.
Same.
But yes, ran the race. You had your law school friends there,
Yes. Yes.
so you were doing that. You mentioned people were in or you saw a couple or one or two Cabot Cruiser shirts. I did not see anyone there, so I don't know if you made that up or what, just to make me feel more comfortable.
When I was driving up, I saw someone walking away in a Cabot Cruiser shirt, so I just assumed that they were like walking to put their stuff in their car, but maybe they just registered but didn't run the race. I don't know.
No, they probably did. They were probably there. I just missed them, but I did see a couple of people I knew, and before the race started, I looked around. I just thought, I was like, I'm going to be one of the first people coming in, just completely judging the crowd and seeing who I would be probably faster than. And that was the case. And I was second in my age group. I actually have the medal here,
Oh,
which
look at you.
I have all like medals from 3 races ago sitting on this TV tray and bibs that I probably need to put away at some point. I keep saying I'm going to do like an Instagram post, and I just haven't gotten around to it. And I will eventually, probably for our Instagram page too. But yeah, I got my little. Mm, okay, we can see it.
Yeah.
My little second place in my age group medal.
Woohoo.
Yay for 35-39. I don't remember the last time I placed in a. Okay, I actually did for the for the race I paced recently. Just because that not enough people had did it, and I was the 2:10 half marathon group, so I got at least got second in that. I didn't win the thing. If you're a pacer and you win your age group, that's usually not a very good sign that the race is very large, unless you're in like the, I don't know, 140 group or something like that as far as the half marathon goes. But yeah, I left with hardware, I guess you could say. But it was, I don't know, it was a good time. It was just I went into it not really knowing what I was going to do. It's not a Grand Prix race, but at the same time, I'm competitive and I know that. And I knew as soon as I got out there, no matter what I said, I was going to turn it up and try to beat somebody. Plus, it's just good to test your, like it's not a Grand Prix or anything like that. So I didn't have points to gain from this, but I at least wanted to see, how I would do. I don't have a Grand Prix race until June 1st. So it's good to go out and get the competitive juices flowing, even if it's not in like a, that type of setting, super competitive setting. I mean, you can still go out and compete. And I did that. And this was the first race of the year that was warm. I think it's fair to say, right?
It was humid. It had rained that morning. It was not supposed to rain again that evening, but it was humid and you could tell that either it had rained or we were expecting some rain. So it was,
Well,
I think technically in the 70s, but very humid.
well, it's May. April in Arkansas. Usually, all the races are in the morning, so you could be 40s and 50 degrees in all your April races. I mean, it was cold. The hog eye was cold both days. I wore long sleeves each day, and gloves even for the half marathon. I mean, it was cold. And just Las Vegas in the past, when I would do that, it's always like the last weekend of April when it was still around. And it was always cold at the start, but it would be warm by the time we finished. But it was always in the 50s. I remember at the start. So it's May and it's at night. So and by night the sun's still up at 7 p.m. It didn't get dark until we really left, and we stayed for a while after. So it was warm, and I could fit humid like you said, a little sticky, and that good old sticky humid. Let's try that again. Sticky humid Arkansas weather in May, and I knew it was warm when I was probably I don't know 2 miles in, and it's like yeah, it's getting hot. It's getting hot, and it was getting to some people. I'm pretty acclimated to this crap, just growing up in it and training in it. And first real job, well, I say real job, my first job that wasn't mowing yards was working in hay fields as a 14-year-old. So between that and football, etc., growing up, I'm used to this stuff. So when it gets tough, and as far as heat and hills go, I kind of thrive on that. So I was passing a few people as the race progressed. I mean, just from the heat, you could tell it was draining some, and the hills, and there were more hills than expected. Especially, you go over the bridge, but you have to go up on this sidewalk and do a loop, and then go over the bridge. That was my least favorite part of the race. Would you agree with that?
Yes, that was terrible. So it's like a pedestrian bridge that they have going over the interstate to connect the different sides of Little Rock. And it was there was a hill leading up to the bridge And then two, there's the bridge itself, which was pretty steep for um for a bridge, which sounds weird, but um usually you have a little bit more space so the incline can be more gradual, but this is done in like a very short and cramped space, and so it was a pretty steep incline to get up onto the pedestrian bridge too. Um, I'll be honest, I walked that part. I was supposed to be running for my intervals, but I walked that whole thing because it was terrible.
You said screw that. I'm gonna walk. Forget the intervals. I ran. I'm not gonna walk in a 5K. The only 5K I've ever walked, stopped and walked in was the Eureka 5K in Eureka Springs. The first mile of that race, you start downtown and you run uphill basically. You go through the uphill part of town, and I run the entire time until you get to the part where you have to run up to the Crescent Hotel. And I mean, it's like this for, I don't know, a quarter mile. I mean, like this. So I have not, I've done that race 3 times. It's not around anymore. It lost funding, so they don't have it anymore. But I did it 3 times, and the last 2 times I said I'm going to run the whole thing, and I failed each time to run the whole thing. So it's that's the only one I've ever walked in a 5K, but because it was that it's that tough, and that was the only part that I've walked it. But yeah, they still found their hills here at this race, and but I thought it was a fun course. It was like a great time of day to do it for me. Like I said, don't have to get up early, or didn't have to get up early for that, and just got to go run, in downtown-ish Little Rock. It was a good time. The course was short. I had it at 3.06.
Hmm. And my watch had it at 3.05.
Yeah, and for those wondering, a 5K is a 3.1 mile race. It's to be technical, a 3.11 mile race to be exact. So this was a little bit short, but pretty close. This isn't USATF certified or anything like that. It's a charity race, and so that deserves a little bit of leeway as far as that goes. But got my shirt, left with the medal, and I like yellow. Yellow has grown on me over the years, so I dig the yellow ribbon,
Yeah. Um,
as evidenced by my yellow Grizzlies hat.
it was a little warm for me. We've talked on the show before about how I don't like to be in the heat. And my heart rate knew that. Um, my heart rate got pretty high during this race.
I was
Um,
gonna say, tell us about that. Your heart rate cannot exceed what?
so my heart rate is not supposed to exceed 180. Um, my device will start pacing me out of that to try to bring it back down. I got up to 178.
What's your device? Explain your device.
I
We're
have
not talking about a Garmin, everyone.
no, I have a pacemaker defibrillator. So I have a pacemaker that paces me when I get below 60 or above 180. And then I can get a shock if I fall outside of that range and it's abnormal, which most of my heart rates are considered abnormal because I just, I'm special like that. But it will pace me first, but I got pretty close to it having to kick in and start pacing me out. And that was it was actually before the hills. So I walked more than I normally would have with intervals, but I also had originally only planned to walk this race. Um,
Yeah,
I
you said your goal is to come in under an hour.
Yeah, so I um was with a group. However, I kind of realized that I was going to be more walking by myself because the group was a lot closer. I was with strangers. The group I was with was strangers. My law school friends were on a different team and they were running. Um, and they were gonna run fast. So I knew I couldn't stay with them. Um, but I walked the first 3 minutes and then decided I was going to turn on my intervals. And I then did intervals for the rest of the race. There were a few times that, I walked more than I walked when I should have been running, like at that bridge, for example. But there were a couple of other times as well, when it just, I knew it was a little too hot for me to be out and about and running. So walked more than I should have, but still had a pretty decent time for walking more than normal. I mean, I finished in 43:33. And I think the
That was
last
faster than your spring fling time, wasn't it?
I was gonna say, I think that's faster than the 5K that I did while I was actually trying. So, even walking more, I
What does that
did.
say about your trying, though? Let's talk about that a little bit. What does that say about your trying?
I
If
don't
you
know.
walk the first 3 minutes of this one, and
And
and it,
walked
and it was
more than,
hotter, it was
yeah.
significantly hotter. I wore long sleeves at the spring fling 5K, and I don't know. My time was actually faster at spring fling, but it was cooler. It wasn't as hot, and it was flatter, so it should have been.
Yeah, I was the opposite. I'm not entirely sure why. I am doing a little bit more cardio. I did purchase a spin bike so that I can do some indoor cardio. But that should not have that should not have been why my time was faster when I was not trying.
Well, let's think. No, I would disagree with that because what kind of cardio were you doing before you got the spin bike?
I wasn't.
Exactly. All right, so you went from doing nothing to a little bit of something routinely, and guess what? You've seen results. So,
Yeah. Yay.
yay!
But I was excited. I did get to finish with one of my law school friends. He I ran into him and so made him do the intervals with me at
You
the
don't
end.
mean literally, right? Like figuratively.
Figuratively.
Okay,
I saw
just
him
checking.
from the bridge. I saw him and I was like, oh, I wonder if I could catch up with him. But again, I was walking that bridge, so I was like, probably not. But I did end up catching up with him and made him finish with me, which was great because our law school friends were there cheering us on. They met us at one of the curves to cheer us on before we got into the final push, and then they were at the finish line cheering us on as well, which was really nice of them.
All right, so what was your, I'll tell you my experience with it. What was your time? 43 something?
43:33.
Okay. I came in, I checked, I saw my run sign up results email, and I think my official time was 22:41. So 22 minutes, 41 seconds. And when I got finished, I went straight to what I thought was Gatorade. It turned out it was very sweet lemonade, but I was very thirsty and parched, so I had 2 cups of it. And then I realized, oh, there's water over there, like off in the background where nobody could see. So I went over and I got 2 or 3 cups of water and drank those. And they had a many, like an extreme plethora of pizza boxes stacked up. And I started to say, oh, I'll wait for Michelle to eat. And then it hit me that there's going to be a lot of people that come in before her, and I don't know what's going to be left here. And there's going to be people touching and breathing all over it. And I was like, I'll just go ahead and get my pizza now, even if I don't want to eat it quite yet. FUPA's back on the screen, y'all. But and just tried to go for more zip ties. What does he do with these zip ties, by the way?
He takes them and then oh, we dropped that one. He hides them. Um, and then when I go to sweep and clean, a lot of them end up behind the cat tree. Because he'll bring them up there and then he drops them. So he just collects them.
Okay, well, we all have to have a hobby. Okay, so I go I go get my pizza, and I figure, I mean, this, and they had good pizza. It was good looking pizza. I had like a spinach one, with like an Alfredo base. I had your like kind of meat lovers, and then like a supreme. And I got three pieces. I hadn't eaten dinner going into this. The race started at 7, so I was a little bit hungry. At the same time, I didn't really feel like eating because I was drenched in sweat. I just got done running. It usually takes me a while to settle down before I get hungry after a race. But I said, well, I'm holding it. I might as well eat it. I'm going to eat it eventually. I might as well do it. So I get my plate, my little paper plate, a pizza, and water, and I'm sitting there eating. And I said, well, I'll go walk over there to kind of where the finish was. You walk across the grass into the part where you do that, loop ish, the half loop to the finish. And I'll watch the runners. I'd originally said I was going to wait for you and cheer you on as you were coming around. And I finished my pizza and then I started to go. I was like, well, I'm thirsty. I'm out of water. So I walked back over to get some water. And then I kept checking my time watch and I thought, well, maybe I'll go back over there and see where she's at. And then you tapped me on the shoulder. You had already finished. So I thought you would be slower than you were at Spring Fling just because of the heat. But I didn't take into account you're doing some cardio now with your exercise bike. But it was, yeah, as far as the race itself, to touch up on that, it was a good time for what it was. It was a good race. It was, you had your elite guys kind of at the front. When I saw who was there, I said, even though I was one of the faster people there, I knew I wasn't faster than some, so I got in that kind of second tier of people. And I was like, yeah, I don't belong up here. So I backed off a little bit. I backed off a little too much because I was doing some weaving early. I should have stayed just kind of right behind those elites. But I don't know, it was fun. I kind of stuck with some and they just kept dropping off as the race progressed just because the heat and the hills got them a little bit. The first mile, I finished the first mile in like 6:58. So I mean, I was kind of booking it. I think mile two it was 7:30, and then it ended up being what it was. But yeah, it was a little short. It was, but not too short. I still probably would have come in under 23 or right at, which would have been fine with me either way. Um, but yeah, it was a good time, and we got out of there right at dark.
Mhm.
And then I went to work, and because I said last week, work was between the race and my home. So I went to work and grabbed my things, and then got home. And yeah, it was fun. It was fun to go out and sweat a lot and leave with hardware. Did you ever post that stuff on our socials, by the way?
I have not. I was gonna wait until
The episode came out.
the
Makes sense,
episode
right?
came out and post it as a little teaser to get people to listen. So it'll be posted probably when this episode goes out.
All right. Well, inside
Live.
scoop, everyone. Okay. So MacArthur Park 5K, for what it was, I'll give it a 5 out of 5 stars. Had some good brew, had some pizza, had a good crowd. A plus time of day for me. Yeah. So I got my extra large shirt, which I clicked when I signed up. So shout out to the whatever he was there who was keeping tabs on everyone. I'm not being sarcastic. I genuinely appreciate like no leeway there. Like, no, you asked for an extra, you wanted extra large, and that's what we ordered, so get the extra large.
Yep.
Completely understand.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense though too. Like you do this a lot, and so sometimes you just don't know what you click. Um, because I also know that some like depending on if it says if it's fitted versus relaxed, like I will change the size of my shirt. So sometimes I also don't know what size I click on things like that. So
Now, I could have, as he might have been thinking, he said this guy wants to avoid the $2 charge. So he's clicking extra large and then he's going to say 2X. But that really wasn't that really wasn't true. I genuinely didn't know because I've signed up for so many of these that I can't remember which I did. So if they're asking me, I'm just going to tell them what I want or what I thought. Maybe that's on me. I don't know. Even though it did say extra large on my bib, but I didn't realize that till after. How about those bibs, by the way? Okay, I wasn't a fan of the bibs. All
The
right,
bibs
that's
were terrible.
yeah.
Like, I hate to say that, but they were terrible.
I won't deduct any points because, like I said, charity races always deserve leeway, which most of these are. They're pretty much all charity races anyway. But it's not like a competition type of thing, you know. I mean, as far as like a Grand Prix race or things like that. But yeah, the bib it was so wide because I'm always a leg guy. Which one? It didn't have a timing chip on the back of it. So it was, I really don't know why we had a bib, to be honest with you. There wasn't a photographer. Well, you said there was a finish line video.
There's a finish line video, so when you click your results, you do get to skip straight to you crossing the finish line. Um, I I have not heard of photos, and I didn't see a photographer. There was some at the start, but there was definitely not any at the finish. So I feel like it was just for the finish line video.
It had to be, otherwise there's really no purpose to have a bib. Although I don't know that you would have been able to read mine. Like I said, I'm a leg guy when it comes to the bib, but this was so wide that I just felt I had to wear it on my chest, and I at least try to go high up on the chest because my arm always hits the thing. So by the time I got done, one, I was drenched in sweat because I sweat a lot anyway. What was that face for?
I clicked to see if I could see you, and loud music started playing. So if that was heard,
Okay.
I apologize.
I didn't hear anything, but we'll see on the playback. All right. So, yeah, my bib was half torn off me by the time I finished, and as I was taking the pins off, it was just falling off. So, I mean, I literally just had to wad the thing up and throw it away. 'Cause I usually keep all my bibs. I plan to do something with them one day, maybe. We'll see. Maybe not. Maybe they'll stay in their folders for the end of time. I don't know, but until then, I'm going to continue to collect bibs, but I could not collect this one because it had fallen apart, so I had to chunk it. But we had the shoe tag timing thing, so bib was really irrelevant. And as you're fighting with FUPA over there, he's just trying to steal the show, which is
I
fine. This is
would really appreciate it if you would call him by his actual name,
FUPA.
Burpa.
That's what I said, FUPA. All right. Anyway, all right. So I've got another race coming next. When is your next race? Don't say in October because you're going to sign up for one before then.
Technically, I'm signed up for one in September. So, hey,
All right. So, do you have any in mind for the summer that you're going to do?
no, I will not do one during the summer.
You probably will. I would bet
I
money. I
I
would bet,
absolutely will not.
I will bet two barbecue dinners that you do one before September.
No, absolutely not.
They're going to be morning races though. So it's not going to be
I
like stupid hot
I will die or end up in
yet.
the hospital. So, no,
Even if you walk it,
even if I walk it,
I don't believe that, but
it will not happen. The next race that I do is September something something. I have no idea.
what's the race?
I don't know. You sent it to me.
I did.
Yeah.
Was it the pumpkin run?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't even know what it was.
No,
I don't know what it was. You sent it to me.
I don't know.
Have you registered for it?
Yeah.
Okay, I've registered for it as well. That's the Great 5K Pumpkin Run, and um, is it your hometown?
It is my hometown.
Okay, in our beautiful hometown of Lone Oak, Arkansas. A shout out to the Jackrabbits baseball team, by the way. I don't know if they won their regional championship, but I know they're playing for it. They're the defending state champions in baseball. So go Rabs on that. Okay, so that's your next race. Mine is this coming Saturday. It is currently Cinco de Mayo, Sunday, May 5th. But my next race is Saturday, May 11th in Fayetteville, Arkansas, at Veterans Memorial Park, which is around Lake Fayetteville. I will be pacing the 2:30 group in the half marathon race. I was supposed to be doing it with my brother Ben, but we got a message from the company owner, the pacing company that we run for, and she asked if one of us could move up to the 220 group because no one was available for that one. Of course, we gladly did what we needed to do, and I nominated my brother to do that. Not that I'm uncomfortable. I mean, I typically pace the 210 group, so 220 would not be. I would prefer to do 220 over 230, to be honest with you. But my brother's faster than me, and I know that he would just be more comfortable doing that. So I said, yeah, he'll do that, and I'll stick with the 230 group. So that's going to be our next race. Mine and my brother Ben is Saturday in Fayetteville, which should be fun. It's always fun to run in beautiful Fayetteville, Arkansas, which was my second home essentially. Lived there for 7 years. Go Hogs.
Woo
But
pig.
that, yeah, Woo Pig. So that's my next race, and then after that, I don't have anything scheduled till June 1st, which is a 4 mile race in Batesville. But we'll find things to talk about. There's always something to talk about, and we can talk about. Oh, well, before I get to that, it's the hometown half marathon. So that cool medal that I really like that's still sitting on my TV tray, the spinner medal, I get to have another one of those. So I am low key excited about that.
That is pretty cool that you're going to end up with two, because that is a really awesome medal.
It
This
is.
race company that has put these couple on, they've done some really cool medals. Because I really liked that dinosaur one too.
For those of
Uh,
you watching on Spotify and YouTube, I am currently doing the spinner medal right now. I really should put this away because it's just collecting dust, but this is so cool.
it is really cool.
Yeah,
Like
beautiful medal, the
it's a
hometown
good
half
medal.
marathon, put on by Bodies Racing Company. So I get to have two of those. All right. And as I was kind of jumping into, as far as there's always something to talk about when it comes to running, I could do this all day, night, every day of the week. Maybe not every day, my throat will hurt, but there's lots to talk about in the running world, whether it's a race or not. And we can talk about training. I took like a week and a half off from running after the Hog Eye weekend because my ankle got really swollen and it was very sore. It was very tender. So I lifted 2 days that week. The following week, I didn't do any running. I just went and destroyed myself in the gym lifting wise. My chest was sore for probably 4 or 5 days after I did chest on that Friday. Um, this is when that round of storms came through central Arkansas.
Mhm.
But I did my first run this past Wednesday. Ran my typical route, a little over four and a quarter miles. Didn't go too fast. I went really easy on some turns just because I wasn't nervous about it because I felt good. I wouldn't have went and ran if I didn't feel good or feel like I was going to hurt myself. So I went and did that and yeah, felt fine. So then had the race Saturday and I said, yeah, let's just go for it. Let's go race and did and felt fine after. So ankle feels great if you had any questions about that.
I'm sure some of our viewers did, or some of our listeners. We've got both. People view and
Viewers and
listen.
listeners, people can view and even listen. That's wild. I
It's
think they make like
crazy.
TV for that or something.
But I'm sure some of our listeners were curious, so they probably appreciate the update.
Maybe, or they're saying get on with it. But either way, either one's fine. All right, so that's I'm leading up to Saturday. I'll run Wednesday and Thursday and pack up Thursday night. Get there sometime Friday after work. Probably be fairly late in the evening because I'll still have to come get my dog and go. I'll probably stop along the way and eat somewhere. I don't have to get my packing and stuff till the following morning, although we got to be there pretty early. I think it's a 7 a.m. race. So we'll have to drive 25 minutes, give or take, to get to the race. Uh, him being in Bella Vista, which is where I'll be staying that night, Friday night. So we'll go 20, 25 minutes south and yeah, get to the race. Veterans Memorial Park, Saturday, hometown half marathon. There's still time to sign up, register. For those of you interested, that'll be in the Northwest Arkansas area or surrounding area. Okay, so I'll have my 2 runs in before then, and you will be. How often are you cycling on that thing?
Well, now that school's over, my goal is like 3 to 4 times a week. I've been doing it just on the weekends because I get home so late. I just don't have time when I get home. But I am officially done with the semester of school. So we'll be getting home at a normal time, so that I can do that before dinner and have plenty of time.
Did you even answer the question at all? I don't know that
Yeah,
you answered anything I
I said
asked just then.
I said 3 to 4 times.
Okay, I missed that.
You need to get your ears checked.
No, I was looking at something else over here.
So
So
you're
at
not
this
paying
race,
attention.
I was paying attention to most of it. But at this race, the hometown half marathon, or just all bodies racing company races, I think they do hand out these pins when you finish. I was like, I got to find the camera here. That's a 13.1 pin. And if you place in your age group, you get either a gold, silver, or I guess bronze, one of these that says age group winner. This is a silver one that I got again pacing the hometown half last month, April 14th, in North Little Rock. So you do leave in a cool baseball tee shirt. I'll get another baseball tee. Probably be the same color, same yellow, which again, I like yellow. But I wouldn't be upset if I got like a different color one, like the sleeves were a different color, but just so I'm not having two of the identical. But then again, I'll take the same thing. I dig the baseball tee, so I'm good with that. How far do you tell us a little bit about your cycling? Let's dive into this a little bit because I may take up cycling if my legs just give me too much trouble one day and I can't do that run anymore.
Yeah.
But
So
hopefully that's a very long time. But I can only cycle for so long. It hurts my butt after a while. So
it definitely
tell us about
does.
that.
Yeah. So I um subscribe to the Peloton app. So I do not have a Peloton. I used to, I sold it. But this is just a cheap spin bike that I got on Facebook Marketplace. But I use
Why'd you sell the Peloton again?
because I wasn't using it.
Okay.
Um, but so I use the Peloton app. So I do follow along with those riders, or instructors. Um, the bike itself, I put a cadence sensor on it, so that I can follow along a little bit easier, and it has resistance, just like other spin bikes do, so you can make it heavier, so like you're climbing up a hill and things like that. So I am not really it's not like I'm cycling for distance or anything like that. I am cycling along with the instructors depending on the class. So sometimes I do a low impact class, which is usually just really easy downhill. There might be some lower resistance things, but also sometimes I might do a hills class, which is a lot of like climbing, a lot of heavy resistance at a slow pace. Um, So there's a lot of variety on the Peloton app. Um, but you can also just find YouTube videos. Like if you don't want to subscribe, there's a lot of really great instructors out there that will do classes. And because they don't have a Peloton and they don't necessarily have the sensors and things like that, then you can, it's a little bit easier to follow along with them, whereas Peloton is thinks that you have a Peloton bike.
I was just thinking, why do I need a YouTube video to tell me how to ride a stationary bike?
Because you might not, like, a lot of people are not looking just to ride. If they're looking just to like cycle, they're either gonna go outside and ride an actual bike or they're gonna like watch TV or something. But some people want someone to follow along with, so that you know when to speed up, when to slow down, when to add the resistance, when to take it away, when to come up out of the seat so that you're like standing and cycling, when to come back down. You want that guidance.
So it's kind of a spin class at home,
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
but maybe not as intense.
I mean, some of them can get real intense.
Okay. All right. So I was just curious about that. I've always been the look at the TV, what's on at the gym on the stationary bike, or have something on my phone or something. I don't do a lot of stuff on my phone in the gym. I'm not. I don't know. I don't want to sweat all over my phone, things like that. So I'm don't do a lot with my phone while I'm actually like doing a workout or something, especially because most of my stuff is cardio. So I'm drenched usually by the time I'm done. I don't want to be dripping all over my phone that I paid too much money for.
I mean, that makes sense.
I think so. All right. So this has been a fun episode of the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast. I don't know what else to add to this episode. I think we covered everything, don't you, Michelle?
I think so, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get out of here and we will probably, I don't know if we're going to be, are we going to do an episode this weekend since I won't be in town?
Probably not. It's Mother's Day. You're going to be gone. So we probably won't have an episode next week, but we'll be back the week after for sure.
Daggum right, we will. But until then, this is your host, Graham Powell. That's Michelle Zangulis over there, and we're going to get out of here. So see y'all next time.
See ya.